or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Listen, you can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Wednesday afternoon to you. And yes, it is time for the McFarland Show here on WNSR. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. Darren and Justin here with you. We're live at the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Devlin is alongside for the next 2 hours. We got a great show for you. And in about 15, 20 minutes, we're going to talk to Sean Merriman.
Mercy.
Whew, he was good. This just in. He was good.
Okay. Lights out.
Yeah, he was. Yes, he was. So we're going to talk to him. Of course, played for the then San Diego Chargers.
The old San Diego Chargers.
And the Buffalo Bills. So we'll talk to Sean Merriman coming up in about 15, 20 minutes. Bill Keene will join us at 3 o'clock to begin the second hour. We'll kind of wrap up a college football season that's come and it's gone, believe it or not. It was fast. And we'll find out.
See that, yeah.
There's a lot of rumblings. Look, college football scene never stops, right? There's always going to be talk of this and that, and I know they still have National Recruiting Day, their second installment of that, first week of February, but some things involving Nick Saban I want to ask him about. Let's get his thoughts.
All right. You know, Bill is dialed in to Nick Saban in a big way. He has strong beliefs about one Nick Lou Saban, does Bill King. So whatever you want to ask him, I'm interested in hearing it because whatever it is, he's not shy about what he thinks about Nick Saban.
Oh no, he is not. So we'll get into all things college football in the second hour of the program tonight. The Grizzlies are hosting the San Antonio Spurs. I've got some good friends that are going to the game.
All right,
they're taking their 11-year-old son who plays ball with my son. And they're going to see Ja Morant.
I have yet to go to a Grizzlies game since they have been in Memphis. I've yet to go to a Grizzlies game at all. That is the one thing I don't think I've done. I've been to the Vols, of course, and done. I have not been to a Grizzlies game. I haven't.
Wow.
I admit it. I just haven't done it. I haven't been over there during the time of year they're playing to be in town, and then I have not just gone just for them. So,
man,
yeah, I'm dropping some news there.
Wow. That's breaking news.
I mean, I'm about to say, Darren, you
haven't been to the FedEx
taken
Forum?
aback.
Well, I mean, you're not in sports, so you haven't been in sports, so okay.
I mean, no, I've been to the Memphis at the time, the Chicks, or the Redbirds now, or whatever they call themselves. Yeah. Used to be the Chicks back in the day. For those who don't know,
how long ago were they the Chicks?
That was a long time ago,
man.
But I've been over there to what was called AutoZone Park at the time, I don't know if it's still called that there in Memphis. But
I think so.
okay, so I've been over there to that ballpark and
Yeah.
seen that. Went to a game, had a lot of fun, was good. But no, just haven't been there for the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies weren't in season during the times that I've been in town.
In fact, the guy that my son has been taking lessons with, hitting lessons with this entire offseason, has been a guy that is, I think, going to start AAA. He's in the Cardinals organization. I think he's going to start AAA this year. So hopefully he's going to start with Memphis. He's their catcher, or he is a catcher, I should say. I think he played both last year. He played in AA and a little bit in AAA in Memphis. He's fantastic. So my son loves it. I hate that he's getting ready to leave. I was like, man, that's awesome, man. I hope you're playing, AAA. I hope you even get called up to St. Louis. But, man, it stinks that you're leaving.
Oh, man.
He's really good.
That's really good.
He's really good with kids, and he really knows what he's talking about. So.
No, that's really awesome. That's really awesome.
In fact, their last lesson, he does it with another teammate of his, and we were talking about something we do, and, I'm their coach, but, they asked, well, is that what – I forgot the exact question, but I looked and I'm like, look, whatever Aaron says, I'm going to trust his professional baseball eyes over mine, okay? So whatever he says goes in this setting because he's a professional baseball player.
Yes.
So we're here to take lessons with him, and we're going to trust his eyes. And if he says something a certain way, that's what we're going with.
That's what we're going to do.
That's what we're going with.
We're doing that.
Okay. But anyway, so we've got friends going tonight to the Grizzlies game, and Jaw hasn't been playing. He's supposed to play tonight, but I just reached out to their fine radio voice, Eric Hasseltine. And he's like, I don't know. I think so, but not real sure.
Taking the night off here.
They can win without him. And I'm like, oh, don't say this.
We're on the load management.
Yeah, Eric, just say that he's playing, please.
Yeah.
Because they're going there to see John Morant. That's why they're going.
Then they're going to watch him sit
You think he's sitting?
on the bench.
Do you know that for a fact?
That he's going to sit on the bench?
That he's not playing tonight?
No, I don't know that.
Oh.
No, I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying that if he doesn't play, that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be going to watch him, sit in street clothes and give high fives to his teammates as they come over to the bench during timeouts.
They have floor seats, and I don't think that's really why they bought floor seats.
Yeah.
To be close to Josh sitting on the bench.
I mean.
So I hope he plays. I don't know.
Yeah.
By the way, you can hear that game here tonight on these airwaves. But they'll be watching it in person at FedEx Forum.
Good deal. Well, hopefully Ja comes out and, maybe Ja will come out and get there early enough. Maybe Ja will come out for shoot around. But, if you don't get to see him in the game, maybe he'll try to give it a go and, warm up a little bit, and then you can watch him do that. I know he's not quite as entertaining as Steph Curry is during his warm-up, but, you never know.
Just latest text from Eric. He's not on the injury report, so
okay,
maybe he is set to play tonight.
Game time decision.
Yikes. Man, I honestly, come on, man.
It's 200 miles, okay?
I really hope that he's out there
200 miles
warm-ups.
one way, okay? It's 400 miles round trip.
In all seriousness, this is a problem that the NBA has because it's so star-driven, right? And this just in, their tickets are not cheap.
No.
And you don't know from night to night.
Who's going to be out there?
Unless somebody's got an injury that everybody knows about, and they've been ruled out
like Kevin
for
Durant right now,
Right, they've been ruled out for 4 to 6 weeks or whatever, then, of course.
Yeah.
But you just don't know. You know, from game to game, you're going to show up and then poof, none of the stars are playing. It's like, really?
And it's not like they discount. You know what? Ja's not playing tonight.
Yeah, right.
So tickets are half
Buy
off.
one, get one free night.
No, they don't do that.
No, they don't. So
they want all their money regardless.
People get hosed, man, and it's not good. And I don't blame people for being mad.
Yeah. Well, it slices to the point that a lot of people believe that the NBA needs to cut off some games. The reason why the guys are not playing all season is because, to be all honesty, there's no benefit to playing all season. Why play all 82 games for what?
Right, they know it.
Yeah. You can get out there and get away with probably playing, 50 to 60 games maybe. If you're an older player, maybe less than that.
I wouldn't do any more than 70. No more.
Yeah.
It's got to be 70 or less, right?
And you're still going to get in the playoffs. You're going to get a seed. I mean, half the league makes the playoffs, so you're going to get into and actually it's probably more than that when they go to now they go to 10, right? Because you do the round robin deal. So at least 10 teams in each conference. So what is that? That's 20 out of the 30 teams in the NBA are going to see some postseason. So if you can just work your way into the top 6 or whatever, you're in good shape. You're going to be fine.
Watched Vanderbilt and Tennessee last night. Vols won by 11, or what was the final? By 9. But the game, Vanderbilt was in, and it just kind of got away from them late in the second half. There was a one stretch late. Tennessee was up 16 or 17, and I was like, man, if they end up winning by this, people are just going to look at the score and be like, oh, man, the Vols just trounced Vanderbilt. No, Vanderbilt was leading at half. They were up 2 at half. They hit a bucket right at the buzzer to go up 2 at the half, and they played a really good first half. They lose by 9
points,
but
yes.
Really they were in the game. They were. For the most part, they were in the game.
Mm-hmm. Got outscored there in the second half, though, like you said, down the stretch. Outscored in the second half by 11 points, and there's your difference. Just that. And, it's the Commodores at 8-8. It's soul-searching time. We're past that point. I'm just saying that, I don't think they came into this year hoping to get to the NIT. I think they had higher aspirations than that. But it's just not coming together for them for whatever the reason. And I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it's just, whatever it is not working. Not for them.
No, it's not. Robbins was at times their only player that could score last night. I thought he played a really good game. But look, the reality is if you look around Memorial Gym for home games,
not a lot of buzz in the building.
Really isn't.
Not a lot of buzz in the building.
I like Jerry Stackhouse. I do. But, at some point, you do have to win. I mean, you got to win, and you got to get people to show up to your games, and there just doesn't seem like there's a ton of interest.
No.
At least I don't feel that way.
I don't either.
I don't hear anybody talking. I mean, if you have Jerry Stackhouse as your coach, there should be buzz, right?
You would think.
Around your program.
But you don't – but just as a guy who speaks in the media, who lives in the media on the news side and other – I don't see him. He's not I don't see him. And listen, I'm not saying he's not doing anything. I'm not saying he's hiding in his house or something or not active in the community. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that whatever he's doing, if he's doing something, is not very visible. And that creates a problem.
Yeah, especially if you're not winning.
Yeah.
You can get away with that if you're winning. If you're winning at a high clip, especially. You can get away with that stuff. You can. But you can't be a middle-of-the-road team or below middle-of-the-road team and what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And expect everybody just to show up and support.
We don't see, and again, I'm sure they do something. I'm sure there's a foundation. I'm sure they do charity work. I'm sure they do community outreach. I'm sure they do stuff. But whatever it is not penetrating the consciousness of the Nashville community as a whole, in my opinion. I just don't see it. I don't feel it. I can't think of the last time. Listen, we do 5 hours of news a day. 5 hours a day. I cannot tell you the last time we've seen Jerry Stackhouse on our television airwaves, not even after a Vanderbilt game, to do anything on the morning show. And then maybe, Jill at night, does stuff that I don't see. I'm just saying that, it's just not – it's not something that penetrates a whole lot to the greater Nashville audience, which is something that didn't used to be the case. And Darren, while we take this side street here, I think Vanderbilt basketball is also a victim of the growing sports landscape in town, and people only have so much sports attention that they're going to give. And years ago when Kevin Stallings was here and Vanderbilt was competitive, there was also less options in town. You didn't have so much bombarding you.
But that's
locally.
not really. But the Preds were here. The Titans were here. I mean, the only thing that wasn't here was MLS. So what was it?
The MLS wasn't here. Nashville, the Sounds were here, but not the same way they're here now because of the ballpark situation.
Okay.
So there's less attention. there's also more options at home now than there used to be. There are more cable channels. You can watch your favorite basketball team a lot easier than you could, back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things at play here.
But you know what Kevin did?
He won a lot of basketball games.
He won a lot of basketball games.
They were in the hunt almost every year.
You know who didn't like the glad hand?
Oh, Kevin Stallings?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't enjoy that.
No, he didn't.
I liked Kevin. I like Kevin. I don't want to say past tense. I like Kevin a lot. Okay. I just saw him at the bowling event.
Okay.
George had. So at Strike and Spare in Hermitage. He didn't love doing that stuff at all. In fact, he was actually really good at it if he did do it, but he didn't enjoy it at all. Didn't want any part of it. But didn't stop people from coming to games. So I'll tell you what, on his watch, I went to many sold-out games at Memorial Gym, or games that were packed to almost sold out, right? Like their crowds were not an issue. It certainly wasn't an echo like it is now. Like hello, hello, hello.
I mean,
anyone here?
Listen, if your students aren't going, your faculty and staff.
That's because he won.
Yeah, I mean they're not even going. The Vanderbilt community is not going. So I mean, and that becomes a problem.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Something's got to change, right? I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
If they wanted
to be better,
they could do something if they wanted to. I mean,
I guess I don't know.
The other thing they didn't have over there was Vanderbilt baseball at the time either. The biggest star on campus wasn't the Vanderbilt baseball coach.
Yeah, but they did. I mean, Tim's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, but
Tim's been there for almost 2 decades.
Yeah, but not at this high of a visibility. Not like this.
Well,
not like, winning the College World Series, and doing all that. I mean, he was over there and doing it.
I hear you, but I don't think this is really about options. They're not showing up because of what you've already laid out there, and 2, just they're not winning. If you don't win, people typically aren't show up, and they haven't been winning for a while. Since Kevin's been gone, tell me about all the winning they've done.
Not a lot.
Right?
No, it hasn't done,
It's been few and far between.
No, you look for them, you hope, and then it just, never comes around to
but I mean, that ended in a thud, right?
Yeah.
I mean, nice guy, but golly.
Yeah.
That final season. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Man.
That wasn't good.
Look, I think they play hard for him. I do. I think they do. They play hard, but they play harder than Kentucky. I'll tell you that.
Well,
that's a team that doesn't seem like they care at all.
But Kentucky has a completely different culture.
I know.
I'm just saying,
why. So. I'm saying their kids right now, they don't look like they're interested. Man, those kids play hard, but again, if you're close losses, you're in games, that doesn't. That's fine for a week or whatever. That doesn't inspire people for a season, right? It just doesn't.
No. And I imagine the tickets aren't, $5 either to go to Vanderbilt basketball. I don't know how much tickets are, but
right now I'm not. It's probably all they can. I don't know what they're getting for tickets. I don't know. I haven't looked at ticket prices.
I haven't either. I haven't looked at the ticket prices for Vandy basketball. But hey, they can make a change if they decide that's what they want to do. Whenever they decide they want to do that.
So Tennessee gets it done 77-68 last night. All right, we'll step away. We'll come back. Hopefully we'll have Sean Merriman on the other side. We'll tell you what he's up to. Also get his reaction to Wild Card Weekend. Big weekend in the NFL. First round of the playoffs. We'll do that next here on The McFarland Show, WNSR.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. promotion. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Douglas is a real Prevagen user and paid testimonialist.
My name is Douglas. I'm 79 and I live in Chicago. I'm a writer, director. I used to be a marathon runner. Now I'm a walker. And the kind of work that I do, you are surrounded by people who are all younger than you. Memory became a factor. As everyone gets older, where did I put my keys? But I had to get help to stay competitive. I happened across Prevagen, and I started taking it. I saw myself having an improved memory, which at the same time, I felt better about myself. I could not be doing what I'm doing today had it not been for Prevagen.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Prevagen is available in stores everywhere. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
As a professional realtor in Nashville for more than 40 years, Richard Courtney is one of the city's top-ranked real estate brokers. He's also the author of 2 books and the real estate columnist for the Nashville Ledger. What does all of this mean to you as a home buyer or seller? Expert knowledge, guidance, and trust. Give Richard Courtney a call today at 615-300-8189. That's 615-300-8189 or online at richardcourtney.com.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Coming off his second straight SEC win, this one at the bank. Clark Lee, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, this is my favorite time of the week to be with you guys, so I'm happy to be here.
If you think that's not going to be on a promo, Clark, you are sadly mistaken,
Clark,
sir.
you just made the haters so furious, so thank you very much.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Back here on the McFarland Show, Darren and Justin here with you. We're live at the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. You can watch us every day live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Our next guest, Justin, was a bad man.
Yes, he
was a bad man.
Listen, he still might be,
Hey,
all right?
both of us.
He's just shifted gears.
Look, nobody's accused either one of us of being horse jockeys. We're pretty big dudes.
No.
But we wouldn't want to be out there.
No,
with our next guest. I'm out. I'll be the get back coach. Get back. Everybody get back. Let's bring in former All-Pro NFL linebacker Sean Merriman. He is on the line with us. Sean, good afternoon. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Before we get into some football stuff, I've got to know how this latest endeavor that you've taken, that you've embarked upon, how you came about being a part of an MMA outfit. That's pretty cool. How did your love for that, away from doing what you did for so long, how did your love affair with mixed martial arts come about?
You know, it's funny. I started training myself between the 2005 and 2006 season with Jay Glazer and coincidentally Randy Couture.
Oh, wow.
I just wanted to learn. They said, hey, maybe you should pick up this MMA thing to help out your hand-eye coordination and get better with your hands as an outside linebacker. I said, look, if it'll get me a better player, you tell me, shoot me the address, I'll be there. And I started training, and every offseason I started training a little bit more, and I just developed a love and passion for the sport. 2018 launched Lights Out Extreme Fight Now on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. We got a big fight this Saturday to be live on Fubo at 6 p.m. Pacific to 8:30 p.m. And the card is stacked, man. But this honestly, guys, when you lead the game, we hear all about the transition stories and guys trying to find their way. It was a very easy transition for me. Obviously, having a name like Lights Out and having done what I've done on the field as far as the branding wise, but also the platform that I built in the NFL, and now giving these new fighters, these up-and-coming fighters, a chance to be seen now on Fubo. It's been great. True
story, Sean. I used to do an MMA show here, an hour show back in the day in this market for a decade when nobody was talking about mixed martial arts. And in fact, there were people going, what the hell are you doing on the radio? What is this MMA stuff? We don't even know. So it's kind of like the song, I was country before country was cool. I don't do that stuff anymore. I did it many years ago, but I actually went out there to cover a UFC event in Vegas, and the night before the heavyweight championship bout, which was in Randy Couture, I went to his gym. I was honored enough to be asked to come to his gym and go the night before his fight and watch him train for that fight. It was a pretty cool experience, an experience I'll never, ever forget, and hang out with him a little bit after he was done training. It's amazing.
Well, I'll tell you this. It wasn't amazing the first time he started to throw me around a little bit when we started to train. That wasn't amazing at all. But, that's when I understood the difference, right? You got somebody like myself, and I'm 265 pounds. I'm probably 60 pounds heavier than Randy. And the leverage and how he was able to use his body and hips to kind of grapple and throw me around. I mean, I learned a lot. And in 2006, I came out. I was just better with my being able to turn the corner with my hips open and around those big offensive tackles. So I really do. I just try to push every former athlete to pick up some kind of combat sport when they're done. They don't actually have to go take a fight, but we are transitioning more and more former athletes into lights out extreme fighting for sure.
So how did you go from, Sean Merriman? Sure, everybody remembers the football player Sean Merriman, and you saying, yeah, look, I did a little training, mixed martial arts, helped me become a better football player, to saying, okay, I'm going to come on here and promote this fight or talk about this event, to being full ownership. I mean, you're not just promoting, man, it's your baby. How did that all come about, and how's it been so far being the owner of this?
Well, they say if you love what you do, you're not working. For me, being done, you ask any guy, they'll tell you two things. They miss the locker room and they miss able to have the opportunity to compete, right? And so for me, being around these young fighters, I still get in there once in a while to train with them, but I do know my limitations. I don't try to go all in, but it was a very easy transition for me because I've always kind of been a natural promoter and branding and talking about stuff that I love to do and passionate about it. And so there's a lot of great fighters out here that just don't have an opportunity to be seen with really classy and up and coming promotion. And for these fighters to get opportunity with us with Lights Out Extreme Fighting, man, it's just been great.
So if people want to take in your event, Lights Out Extreme Fighting this weekend, if folks here in Nashville wanted to watch it, how could they do it?
Yeah, get the Fubo. If you don't have Fubo, get it. Outside of us, they got a bunch of great sports programs on there, a lot of great sports content. But we'll be live on Fubo Sports Saturdays at 6 p.m. Pacific to 8:30. And I think you guys will be 2 hours ahead. So, tune in, man. It's going to be big. Now, my Chargers are playing a little bit around the same time, so I'll have a small TV strapped to the cage where I can peek at the game once in a while. So I will keep up with the guys.
We're speaking with Sean Merriman on the line with us. We kind of thought that that Chargers game would be here against the Titans, Sean.
Yeah, didn't work out that way.
Didn't happen. The Titans really crumbled down the stretch, losing their last 7. So what do you make of this? And I know the Titans and Chargers played earlier in the season. What do you make of this Chargers team?
Well, the amount of injuries they've had this year, if I was a bet man on the team, I would say there's no way in hell they're going to the playoffs. I wouldn't have guessed that. You got Joey Bosa goes down, Rashawn Slater, your all-pro left tackle. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, I think, only played 5 games together this year at the same time. Justin Herbert with the rib injury. You got IRs all over the place. Your best cornerback goes down. So I was just shocked. I mean, they got to a point where the defense, they started playing well. They started gelling together, and they went from being one of the most talented teams on paper to being one of the most grittiest teams. And that, to me, as a former player watching them, that's what I love the most.
I want to ask you about the change in era in football, Sean. When you played, the running back was still a very key part of the NFL. As a matter of fact, a couple of your early seasons, the NFL MVP was a running back. Guys like Sean Alexander in Seattle, and even LaDainian Tomlinson right there in San Diego at the time. we've changed out of that. Seems to be more pass heavy right now in the NFL. Can you just talk about what you saw during your time and how the rules changed and maybe how it had to change your style of play just to try to accommodate?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no way I can play in today's game. I'll be fined every game and playing for free, right? I'll just come into the game and just write a check to the league office because I know it's going out. And, it's great because I do believe it's better because they're taking care of the players, right? I think that when I was playing, the knowledge of, the possible head trauma and things like that, injuries for guys when they get older in their life, that information wasn't out there. So I think the NFL did a great job in, switching up helmet to helmet, protecting the quarterback, even though I think that some course they do protect the quarterback a little bit too much. But not only is it a pass-happy league, but the quarterbacks drive the league. They really do. The big-name quarterbacks, the Justin Herberts, the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Aaron Rodgers, I mean, these are what makes the NFL now. This is why people tune in to see these guys. And so with that being said, you got to protect them.
I wanted to ask you as well about, your time in Buffalo, considering what's happened with Damar Hamlin here recently. Obviously, you're connected with that community as well. I know that the fans in Western New York have a very unique relationship with the team and with the players, and I'm sure your heart was like the rest of us and kind of in your throat a little bit as you watched what happened.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of things in the field, guys, but that one shook me the most. I've seen the worst knee injuries and the worst Achilles pop, and you can hear it, right? Guys taking off in the stretcher, but I think the one thing we've always seen is guys on the way out give a thumbs up, right? Hey, I'm okay. Go out there, win the game for me. But for the first time, you've seen someone fighting for their life, and that's something that you can't even really put into words. You don't even expect to happen. It's never happened, and who knows if it'll ever happen again. But my heart goes out to Buffalo. I mean, I was fortunate to play out there. I really was. I believe they have the greatest fans in all of sports, in my opinion. When you play there, you feel like you're part of the community. You feel like that you're playing for extended family. So I was fortunate, and to see that community come together, the fans come together in that time of that moment, how they donated to this charity and how they're pushing forward their team now, it just tells you everything you need to know about Buffalo.
I wanted to ask you about life after football. I know you transitioned over into this, but, we've seen a lot of different things. Eddie George went into acting and eventually into coaching. We've seen guys open up restaurants. We've seen guys start reality shows. I've seen guys lose a ton of weight. I've seen guys gain a whole lot of weight after life in football. Can you talk to me about the transition of, getting up on a schedule, working out, to all of a sudden you can do whatever you want, and how you decide to spend your time, on how you've seen maybe some of your teammates or former teammates spend their time with life after football?
When I talk to a lot of guys, especially the ones that are about to retire, the first thing I tell them is do what you want to do now. Don't wait till you retire to try to figure it out. During the off season, kind of dip your toe in there. If you want to get into acting, if you want to get into business, start doing whatever you want to do during your downtime. And so that transition is easy because, boy, it is extremely tough, right? You're trying to, there's a little bit of an identity crisis. There's a little bit of, what do I do now that regiment's gone? I don't have to be at a 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock wait list and watching film for a couple hours in practice. And so you're trying to figure things out. But when you have time is the worst enemy for any former athlete. To have time because you don't know what to do. And so, you see the Frank Gores and Le'Veon Bell, Adrian Peterson, you see these guys transitioning into combat sports because it's the easiest transition for us because we're already made with discipline. We show up. We know how to show up on time everywhere because if we don't, we get fined, right? And we know how to push our body to the limit, and we know how to work. So it's an easy transition for a lot of these guys to figure out once they figure out what that passion was for them, right? Whatever made them passionate, running out the tunnel, they figure that passion out when they're done. They'll figure it out pretty fast.
Sean, I wanted to ask you about the difference between your company and maybe one of the more popular companies that people have heard of, like UFC or something like that. How do you try to set yourself apart as a company?
Well, for one, we're a football, right? So we have not only national eyes, but this fight particular Saturday coming up is going to be international, shown in Canada, France, and some parts of Spain. So it's our first, maybe global event. But, UFC and Bellator, there's other great promotions out there. We know that some of these guys' ultimate goal is to get to that level. And so with us, we want to grow our talent. We got a lot of up-and-coming fighters that want to stay with us, right, that kind of build a core fan base with the Lights Out Extreme Fighting brand. And, I look to promote them and get them seen. Get it seen as much as possible because it's we got a lot of great fighters, and sometimes they have nowhere to fight. They don't have quality promotions to fight. So we want to be that. We want to be like, hey, UFC, I know Dana well and all these guys well. Hey, we got guys over here you might like, and we're okay with that for right now.
Leave us with this, Sean. Do you have any memories? Because I remember, let's see, I think your last year with the Chargers going out to San Diego and covering the Titans-Chargers game. You guys had your entire, on the offensive side, I think it was all practice squad wide receivers, and yet Phillip Rivers and you guys still found a way to beat the Titans in 2010. Do you have any memories going up against the Titans when you played?
Yeah, they were just always a very physical team, man. They were, when Vince Young was there and Chris, back in the backfield, they were just a very physical team. Also, was it Henry back there at one point?
Yep.
And Travis Henry.
And people don't talk about him as much. He was a damn good running back, and I just remember playing them and the front line. They would just grab you and throw you down. It was a physical team. So it was always a battle anytime we seen the Titans.
No doubt about it. Sean, really appreciate the visit. Best of luck this weekend, and more importantly, with this endeavor. We're big fans of MMA and obviously big football fans in this market. So keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you, sir.
You got it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, that is former All-Pro NFL linebacker Sean Merriman.
Whew, man.
Now he is the owner. He's the owner. Lights Out. Of course, he was called Lights Out.
He was called Lights Out, and for good reasons.
Fighting, yeah.
And for good reasons. For those of you who are unfamiliar, maybe you're a little younger, just go to YouTube. Type in Sean Merriman, 2005, 2006, 2007. Check some of that out. And come on back and talk to us about it if you want. But he was something else during that particular era. Again, and even he acknowledged, Darren, if he played in today's game, he'd be a poor man. Because he just be fined. It was just a very different game even 15 years ago when he played, 8 to 10 years ago.
I thought when I asked him that he was going to go back to 2007 because the
playoff game?
Well, they beat the Titans, I think, here, right? They beat them here, and they beat them in overtime here, and then they beat the Titans out there in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yeah.
It was rough sledding
no,
for the offense.
They weren't.
They couldn't get anything. Vince Young and that offense couldn't get anything going against the Chargers.
That was only Vince Young's, I think, his second year.
Yes, second year.
So, they were still trying to kind of gel together as an offense, but then, injuries and other stuff happened. We already know what all happened after that. But, that was kind of the peak time for his career as a Titan, honestly. Was sort of that particular time there, that 2007 year where they actually got to the playoffs.
Yep. All right, good stuff from Sean Merriman. We'll come back. The phone lines are open the rest of the hour, 615-844-5600. Whatever's on your mind, we can talk with you as you listen to the McFarland Show here on Nashville Sports Radio.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Are you in trouble with the IRS? Detaxify is the trusted tax relief solution that has an A+ rating with the BBB, 5-star rating from Google, and specializes in the IRS Fresh Start program.
If you have years of unfiled back tax returns or owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, the government has the power to garnish your wages, freeze your bank account, and in some cases, they can now revoke your passport. This is John Zandy, president of Detaxify. Detaxify specializes in the Fresh Start program where we help struggling taxpayers get out of collections or settle their tax debt. If you're being audited or dealing with threatening letters from the government, you may need professional tax relief representation. My team at Detaxify can stop the tax collectors and stop the threatening letters from the IRS or state. Call me now for a free consultation.
Call now, 800-601-7780. That's 800-601-7780. Detaxify offers a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. Call now, 800-601-7780. 800-601-7780.
If you need a staycation or planning a trip to Music City, stay at Bento Living Chestnut Hill. Voted the best boutique hotel in the city by the Nashville Scene. Bento Living is located on the edge of bustling downtown and boasts on-site dining, shopping, live entertainment on the rooftop, and free fitness classes. Come experience Nashville like a local. Visit BentoChestnutHill.com to book your Music City vacation today.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today's going to be mostly cloudy with a high of 64. Cloudy tonight with scattered showers developing, the low 56. Thursday, times of clouds and sun, widespread showers and a few thunderstorms, high 68. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Our phone number is 615-844-5600. That's how you get in touch with the McFarland Show. When you do that, the phone will ring. Devlin will pick up and say Nashville Sports Radio.
Yeah.
And then you're going to say your name. And then he'll say, oh, God, I'll get to the guys that put you on hold. You're up just a minute.
You'll hear a and then you're in.
You're welcome to the show. And that's how it works.
Don't forget the part.
Yeah. Does it still do that?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Wasn't sure. Haven't been on hold.
You haven't been on hold in a while. Yeah. The promotion of the show.
Typically, I'm on the other side.
We were getting ready to launch this show. I called in to do a segment, and I heard that familiar and we were up.
Good stuff from Sean Merriman. Bill Keene will join us at 3 o'clock. I remember that 07 playoff game between the Chargers and the Titans out in San Diego because I told you during the break I was down in New Orleans on Bourbon Street.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I was back in the French Quarter at the hotel room watching that game because we were down there at the time, the station I was with, covering the Sugar Bowl. I don't remember who was playing in the 2006
Sugar Bowl.
Well, it would have been technically the 2007. So I don't know. I don't remember who we were down there covering. Was that LSU Notre Dame? I don't remember.
They all run together after a while.
Yeah, was that like Ohio State or Alabama? Who was it?
That was LSU Notre Dame. It was.
Okay, LSU Notre Dame.
January 3rd, 2007.
Okay, that's what we were down there. We were
LSU
down there covering
41.
That. LSU, they absolutely
Notre
smoked
Dame
them.
14.
I think that was Brady Quinn, Notre Dame quarterback. I'm pretty sure.
It was Brady Quinn, yes.
Yeah. Yep, and
Not a
LSU
good day.
just smoked them. Not a good day, but we were down there covering that. And, just that game, Titans did not have a chance against the Chargers. They just could not get anything going. Nothing.
I have a theory about that game in particular, because when I talk to Titans fans over time, you start talking about older and history and stuff, I find that 2007 game against the Chargers in the playoffs, the playoff game, is a forgotten game. A lot of Titans fans,
forgettable.
They don't even remember it even happened. They remember the next year, of course, which was 2008, and that season with Kerry Collins and the disappointing home loss after 13-3 to the Ravens. People remember that, but the 2007 game, I'll say, Vince Young started to play. Vince Young never played in a playoff game. Yes, he did. No, he didn't.
Yep.
People don't remember. It's just they just think it's one of those regular season games that the Titans lost to the Chargers because they lost a few times to them, and it gets lumped in with that. A lot of people don't even think, that Vince Young never played in a playoff game for the Titans. What are you talking about? Yeah, he did.
Oh, but he did.
So
the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals, not St. Louis, Arizona Cardinals have been given permission to speak with one Sean Payton. Remember, teams have to get permission from the Aints.
And not just permission, but they sign them. Don't they have to give a little something over to the Aints?
If they reach an agreement?
If they hire the guy, aren't they owed some draft compensation?
Yeah, I don't think it's the Saints just signing a permission slip. I don't think so.
No, I think you have to ante up.
You got to pony up.
Yeah, ante up down there to the Saints. So, it depends on how bad. I mean, so if you've got the quarterback down there in Arizona with Murray, you would think if anybody can get the most out of him, who could get the most out of what you believe is your franchise quarterback in Kyler Murray? It would reason to believe that the guy who coached the most all-time passing leader in the history of the NFL could help him get the most out of his game. So if you got to give up a draft pick to get that guy on your sideline with that kind of winning history under his belt, it would seem like if you get him to agree to it, it would be a good move.
I do not believe Sean Payton will go to Arizona. I believe he will flirt with the Cardinals. He will not go there. I think he has flirted with Denver. He will not go to Denver. I believe Sean Payton will end up at either the L.A. Chargers or Dallas Cowboys coach next year. It's going to be one.
Wait a minute. Next year?
Next year.
Which would mean one of these two playoff teams that you just spoke of.
Correct.
Would be unloading their head coach.
That is correct. Yes.
Both of whom have not been there that long.
Nope.
About 2 years for each one of them.
Yep. It's, 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
2 for Staley, I think.
I think so.
McCarthy.
Because Anthony Lynn was just out there.
That's about right. I think it's his second year, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So one of them is getting rid of their head coach.
Yep.
Because Sean Payton is available and willing to come to town.
It's very clear. I think Sean Payton's ready, right? I think it seems that way.
It would seem.
Look, you're not out there doing the dog and pony show if you're not coming back, okay? You're just not.
He likes the dog and ponies.
Well, nothing wrong with dogs and ponies. But I'm just saying you're not out there putting your name circulating and seeking permission to talk to. Look, you're ready to come back. And so I believe he is not going to go to Denver. I don't believe he's going to go to Arizona. I believe he will end up being either the Chargers or the Cowboys head coach, depending on if one of them loses, or who knows, both of them could lose. Both of them could lose. They really could.
Yeah, they could. Yeah.
I really don't think, in fact, I can go on and say it here on this Wednesday, I don't think my last scenario happening would be both of them winning. That would be my last.
That both of them would win this weekend?
I would start with a split.
Yeah.
I would then go to both losing before I would say both winning.
So
do you buy that?
I could buy that, but what's a better job, Dallas or the Chargers job? To me, the Chargers job is a far better job than the Dallas job.
Me too. I agree with
the Dallas job comes with unbelievable expectations and distractions and everything else you can think of. Now, here's the other deal with the Dallas job. If you win, you go down as, in sports lore there in Dallas if you can get it done. But if you can't, you just go on the pile with a bunch of other coaches. Some of them Hall of Fame coaches, like Bill Parcells, who could not win in Dallas. Not the big one anyway. You can get to the playoffs, but you couldn't win the big one. You couldn't win the Super Bowl.
Who's the better quarterback, Herbert or Prescott?
That's very difficult. I don't know. I would say I'm sorry. I'm going back and forth for me on that. If Herbert has a stronger arm, I am more trusting of of Prescott a little bit. He's played more, so I've seen more of him.
Yeah.
Versus Herbert, which is kind of just getting started. So it's hard for me to measure it. It really is.
I think Herbert's the better option moving forward. I think if he had his druthers, he'd probably rather go to the Chargers.
Yeah.
Although, look, it's not peaches and cream there either.
No. I mean, Herbert's got more upside than Prescott does. But at this point, you kind of know what you're getting out of Zach Prescott, where you really don't know what you're getting out of Herbert because he just doesn't have as many games under him. That's all. It's not that he's unreliable. You just haven't seen the sample sizes in as large.
I think we all know what Dak Prescott is.
Yes.
We all know what he is. And that's whatever conclusion you come up with, that's what he is, right? It's not going to really get any better, any worse. He just we've seen enough now.
It can get worse now.
Well, this year was.
Ask Russell Wilson. It can get worse.
True. And, oh, by the way, if the interceptions continue, it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if it continues this weekend.
In playoff games.
What, Monday night?
Yeah, against Tom Brady.
I'm just telling you, I don't think it's.
I don't want to see Tom
Brady. These
Brady
people act like,
games.
The Bucks are. There's no way they're going to win that. Okay.
People don't know what they're doing. Listen, you get in these tight playoff games with these experienced quarterbacks. Okay, certain times you just don't want certain guys in certain situations. And I know it seems like they stunk all year and they've been inconsistent. And but we're not talking about that. We're talking about a drive. We're talking about they need one drive to beat you. You want to go against Tom Brady? I don't. I'd rather not. And that's what you end up with in the playoffs is you don't need a whole campaign. You're not looking for 18 weeks. All that is over. Right now we're at one game, one drive, one half.
Ian Rappaport of NFL Network has put out something that affects the GM search. Jeez. We need to go to break. The GM search for the Titans. We'll tell you what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It involves the 49ers and the Titans. We'll tell you about that to close out hour number one. We'll do that next.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
The FanDuel Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up and use the promo code BKING. Combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout for the same game parlay. With live betting, you'll get updated odds on games that have already started. And when you win, you get your money really fast. It's a safe app. It's easy to download and super easy to use. Sign up today. Use that promo code BKING for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code BKING. Must be at least 21. Present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
From the big game to the big dance, Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the Bar Line staff take care of you. Grab a Bar Line signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs, or a Bar Line's double stack, and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Lines, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
It's a Bill King Show.
Lake Norman Buckeye. Bill, will Saban actually coach that 24 quarterback? At some point, he's got to hang it up. Nothing lasts forever. I want to repeat, Nick Saban is doing his favorite thing right now. He's not trying to get to a moment in life to where he can go sit on the beach.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Ian Rappaport, NFL Network, has put out Assistant General Manager of the 49ers, Adam Peters, has declined request to interview with the Titans and the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm going to stay right here. I'm good. I'm just going to wait my turn or wait for the next merry-go-round to go round.
And then it goes on to say, while Peters has great respect for those organizations, his focus is on supporting the 49ers during their playoff run.
Yeah, because there's so much for you to do right now. There's so much for the assistant general manager to do.
Supporting the playoff run.
To get ready for this playoff game against Seattle.
So why do you think he would turn down?
I think he would turn it down because he's got a better job already lined up that he can't speak on. The same way that the I'm drawing a blank. The current general manager for the Baltimore Ravens. Doggone it.
Well, it was Ozzie for a long time.
It was, but it's not Ozzie anymore. That's my point. So the number 2 guy for the Ravens at the time, who's now the number 1 guy, and I should pull up his name to get it right.
Eric DeCosta?
Thank you very much, Eric DeCosta. If you were to Google Eric DeCosta and interview request, you may see his name pop up in some old articles for teams who asked him for interviews in the past that he decided not to go to. Why? Because he knew that when Ozzie retired, this job is mine.
Are you saying John Lynch is retiring?
I'm not saying that John Lynch is retiring. What I am saying is it's possible for John Lynch to move on to something else perhaps, or get promoted to president, CEO of, whatever, Grand Poobah,
Big Cheese,
Supreme Leader, of whatever.
Keen Lynch.
Whatever. It is possible, GM Emeritus, whatever it is. And for him to slide into that position, if he's got it in good with the ownership there, and, they've got a wink and a nod, promise with him, because that was the deal with Eric DeCosta there in Baltimore. He stayed there when he could have been left because he wanted to stay with the ownership there in Baltimore.
Who's the 49ers ownership?
49ers ownership, I believe, is the well, you know what? I don't want to speak.
Well, I mean, I know who it used to be. Oh, is it still the York? Okay, it's the
I'm about
York
to say
family.
it was the York family,
Okay.
but
Okay. I mean, I was trying to figure out, so, DeBartolo back in the heyday.
I almost said that out of habit, and I was like, no, it's not the Bartolows. They're no longer there.
I'm just trying to think, okay, what you said, sure, that could be true. But I'm like, okay, so Bidwell, do we view him as a great owner? The Bidwell family? No. Don't have a great track record, right?
No.
What do you think outsiders think of the Adams family?
That's a great question, which is why whenever we have guests on from other cities, I always try to go out of my way to ask them, how do you view the Titans? Because I'm very curious about it. I want to know how the people in Jacksonville, think about the Titans, or the people in Denver, how do they view what's going on here? And you get mixed reviews. People talk about the toughness and all of that. But they don't have overwhelmingly positive things to say, but they don't really have negative things to say either. So I think that can work both good and bad for you in certain cases. So therefore, you can say, well, it's not a great job, but is it really a good job? Plus, with this team moving into the stadium, and I do wonder about that. I wonder if moving into the stadium sets expectations to the point to where you may be like, you know what? They're expecting a lot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it in the time they want it while moving into the stadium. I don't know if this is a good time for this job. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Just, putting it out there.
So, Assistant General Manager Adam Peters of the 49ers, cross him off the GM candidacy list
not coming
for the Titans. He's not coming. So that puts it at 7 that we know of right now, right? Because Adam Peters has been scratched.
Yes, but there's another candidate from the 49ers, I believe, that they could get.
Rand Carthen.
Okay.
Who's the Director of Pro Personnel.
So, again, I wish we had a flow chart so we can understand, but,
We'll kick off the second hour with Bill Keane. That's next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Andy Field. Airlines gradually resuming flights after an FAA computer outage today. Ground stoppage on outbound flights. Passengers tried to take delays in stride.
For many travelers here at Newark, frustration switched the damn terminal gave way to understanding.
Better to be on the safe side.
This morning's FAA ground stop causing nationwide delays and cancellations with flight schedules screwed up all day.
People are just standing around. There's no place to sit.
Sylvia Tonic able to stay with family and reschedule for Sunday. Baron Blumenstein from Germany got the word early. An FAA computer glitch was to blame.
Yeah, it's the safety system for the complete country, so you cannot fly.
Derek Dennis, ABC News at Newark Airport.
The FAA saying it does not think a cyber attack caused the problem. Police shot a man who stabbed at least 6 people in one of the busiest train stations in Paris. Authorities say the man attacked without warning. Suspect now in the hospital. This is ABC News.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs
and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner?
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel is all conversation-based, so it gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
You'll really see a difference in how you can speak and how conversational you can be in just a few weeks.
Babbel isn't just lessons. You can listen to podcasts, play games, watch videos. You can even take live online classes with a language teacher. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel.
The lessons online and in the app make it easy to learn from pretty much anywhere.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Listen, you can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty there.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Rolling along here on this Wednesday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day to this point. Darren and Justin with you. Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. One more hour to go. Let's bring in Bill Keene. You can hear him Monday through Friday on these airwaves, starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he ends at 9 o'clock. So he'll be back on tomorrow from 6 to 9. He now joins us. Bill, how we doing?
Hey, guys. Doing well. Thank you.
Boy, that was quite the thriller Monday night, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't get to sleep. It was so good. It was just riveting. I mean, I think somewhere in the third quarter, I just went into automatic pilot. I had it on, but I felt like even when it was 10-7, just watching the mismatches everywhere. The only other game that I knew early on was just ridiculously one-sided was that Notre Dame-Alabama game.
Yep.
Down in Miami, and I was there. I knew on the second play, the score was 0-0, and I remember thinking, this is a rout. And it was over at halftime. I don't know if you remember, but they interviewed Brian Kelly, literally coming back onto the field in the second half, and the reporter said, what'd you tell your team? And he looked at the reporter and said, well, is that other team coming back out for the second half? That's literally his answer. So, yeah, it was bad.
It is bad, and I agree with you because I'm sitting there texting back and forth with people, and they're like, oh, man, and I'm like, yeah, this is not going to get better. It's going to get way worse before it gets better. And, look, if we're all thinking that, this is at 10-0. This is at 10-0. I was like, yeah, this is going to get way worse before it gets better. And I said it's not going to get better. If we can identify that, like that just sucks, right? Because it's like, wow, it's just going to be a total mismatch. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be 65-7, but it was pretty clear early on TCU was just outmatched.
There wasn't a spot on the field where they had a better player, literally. Now, it wasn't a spot on the field that I could tell where I thought they had the matchup advantage. And even at quarterback, and Max Duggan obviously had a fantastic last year. So did Stetson Bennett, for that matter. But and not that we need to go ahead and solve 23, but Georgia's going to be a big favorite for a three-peat. So,
where does this win put Kirby Smart right now in the college football landscape?
You're talking about the current group. I think it puts him in the 2 slot behind Nick Saban.
Oh, ahead of Dabo.
Oh yeah, I think so. He's current. And in Georgia, Clemson has done a fantastic job, but Clemson has come back to the pack some. Good enough to win that league. They're not good enough to probably win a game in the playoffs. Not now. They are lacking the athletes in green grass, right? The wide receivers, they're not special at running back. They've got a couple of really good D linemen who are going to go in the first round, but they're just not there anymore. Georgia is a freaking factory of talent, and it's never ending. And I've said this for 30, 40 years about Georgia. Here's what you can be. And they finally found the guy that's got the formula, and he knows what to do with it, because they've always had talent. Georgia had talent in 1980 when they won the national championship. They've had many teams that were good enough. They just couldn't quite coach them over the edge, and now they've got that. And that talent spigot, guys, Kirby Smart is in the prime of his life as a coach. Mm-hmm. He's got 1,000,000 years if he wants it. And I don't think they're done, guys. Who knows? Again, we'll have a lot of time to dissect next year, but I don't think he's done at all.
Well, look, I know it's really premature to start talking about a schedule as we sit here in mid-January because a whole lot of things can change. But when you look at Georgia's schedule next season, let's just say it's not exactly murderer's row.
There is nothing that is an obstacle there. They got to go to Knoxville.
Yes.
That's mid-November. Tennessee, I think Tennessee could be another 10-win team, but I don't think they're ready. They don't go down the roster like Georgia does. And you got to remember, Tennessee, their offense this year did anything they wanted against anybody except Georgia. And Georgia didn't let those receivers get loose in green grass. And the line of scrimmage was not advantage Tennessee. And I don't know that this changes. Tennessee's bringing a lot of good players for this next year. And obviously Georgia is returning a whole lot of good players and bringing more good players in. I just don't think it's time, though. It would have to take – Georgia would have to play poorly, and it would take Tennessee's A-plus day.
Okay, I want to now turn the attention to the guy you just said is still top dog, and that's Little Nicky down in Tuscaloosa. I don't know if you saw David Pollock. I don't know if it was halftime or pregame. I don't remember if it was pregame or halftime. I guess it was halftime, right? David Pollock's comments right there in front of Nick Saban, yikes. Basically going, yep, Georgia's arrived. They're the new top dog in college football. And it's like, that guy next to you, he's still coaching in Alabama. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I think he said gold standard or something like that.
Yes.
Well, now Nick is probably, among many other things, he's the best at. He's also the best at using things for motivation. And I don't think you can sell a season on that one comment. But I do think that gives him and Nick privately, now, I mean, he thinks about these things. He fumes about things that happened in the past. And I'm sure having to sit there on national TV and take that wasn't a good moment, right? And they are bringing in a ridiculously good class. And now they still have a problem. I don't think their coordinators are the best, offense or defense, and things need to be done that might happen there. But and Ty Simpson from Jackson, Tennessee, I think is going to be the quarterback this next year, and he's really good. That'll be, I think, just looking into it, guys, you have to pick Georgia easily in the East, and I think you pick Alabama again in the West. LSU is going to be a problem, but I still think you'd go with Alabama. That LSU-Alabama game this year is in Tuscaloosa coming up. But, yeah, they've got motivation, and Nick now is what, 2 years out on a national championship, and for them, that's a little bit of distance.
Well, and they haven't won. I mean, what, the last 2 years have been Georgia. It was, what, LSU before that? I mean, when was the last time about 4 years since they won?
Well, they won 20. They won the COVID
I was about to say 3 years.
Oh, they won. That's right. They
They've
won the
never
COVID
gone more than 3 years without winning the chip since
Okay.
Nick's been there.
Yeah.
Right.
So you hit on it, Bill. That's where I was going. I've got, my wife's family. They're all down in Alabama, and they're all through and through. So I hear about all this stuff all the time, and we just had the holidays, so I get to hear about this stuff. They are not fond of the coordinators. Is he going to roll with Bill O'Brien? Are they rolling with the same coordinators? Because there's a lot of buzz about O'Brien going back to the NFL. And you know how Nick works. Sometimes he just encourages people to take jobs, right? So he doesn't have to fire them. How do you think that's going to play out?
I would be shocked if O'Brien, offensive coordinator, Pete Golding, defensive coordinator, are back. And what they're trying to do, and you and I, we have talked about this, they're trying to get back Jeremy Pruitt. Now, sometimes I hear that that's been pacified through the SEC office, and other times I hear they're still jumping over some hurdles. But that's what they're trying to do. Whether he gets back home or not, that's what they want to happen. And I don't think there's any rush. It's not like they've already completed a fantastic recruiting class, so it's not like they need to know this tomorrow. You need to know this by spring practice, and you got a ways to go there. But that's what they want to happen. And I'm not sure. I mean, there's some rumors out there, but I'm not sure if he would take one of his analysts or go outside for the coordinator on offense right now. But absolutely, you're right. They want Bill O'Brien to find the next gig. Get on with it. Go. We'll put in a good recommendation. Not that he needs it, but they want him gone, I think.
Okay, Justin, this is radio. Get ready to roll your eyes. Get ready, okay? Because I'm going there.
You're not going to do this,
I am. I'm going there. Look, I'm just telling you, this is the perfect landing spot to, just to retool this guy and then let the little bird fly back out there again. What about like Cliff Kingsbury?
I think he's too much of a riverboat gambler guy.
Really?
I think.
But wouldn't you have said that about Lane?
No, not the same guy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Lane, no, guys. I know Lane is more. Now I know we don't think of him as conservative, but Lane is more. Look, they want to feed the tailback. Cliff Kingsbury is more Mike Leach. Cliff Kingsbury is Mike Leach.
Okay.
See, and Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not what Nick wants. Nick wants to be balanced. And they've gotten a little bit soft because of the passing game. And the passing game won them a national championship a couple of years ago. And I think they want to get that where they have that dominant running back or core where they can feed the tailback and throw the ball at the same time. And they haven't been as good with that balance as probably they'd like to be. Some of that's been the offensive line previously last couple of years after 2020. I don't think so. Now, could he be one of the analysts? And by the way, they're about to approve, guys, just a quick addendum. This rule that not on the field coaches can now start coaching during game weeks. They can't coach during the game, but they can all be on the field. And let's face it, guys, that's probably going on anyways. But they're about to clear that to where you could have 50 guys out there if you want.
I was going to say, do they have enough room on the practice field in Tuscaloosa to get all the coaches on there?
That's the running joke, and it's a good one because it's true. I don't know if they do or not.
All the consultants. Quote-unquote consultants / coaches.
Who's that guy? He's been here for 3 years.
He's a
I don't
consultant.
know his name.
He's a
been
consultant.
Here for 3 years.
Consultant. Bill, I wanted to ask you about in the face of NIL and everything that's going on, how can Georgia continue to be this dominant as you suggest? Aren't other teams going to start loading up on people at some point and be able to challenge any kind of talent that Georgia puts on the field?
Well, I mean, Alabama can. We saw Ohio State can. And Ohio State's not a big NIL team at all. Not at all. Alabama dabbles decently in the portal. Georgia doesn't really. Clemson doesn't hardly at all. But, yeah, but you got to remember, Georgia's got, first of all, geographical consideration. They're around crazy talent. As good a geographical location as you could have. Just check that box. They have unlimited resources. And money, when you get up in the morning, you don't have to worry about how we're paying for something. Or if you need something, you don't have to worry about the AD saying, it got nixed. We don't have the money. That doesn't happen there. And right now your brand is the sexiest brand in America. And you have NIL, and they're doing a little bit of that this year. They've taken a Mississippi State receiver, Ra Thomas. They've taken the Lovett kid out of Missouri. And, guys, I don't know if you remember, they went hard after Caleb Williams. I mean, Stetson Bennett wouldn't be the quarterback right now if they'd have gotten Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb Williams was long set to go to Southern Cal, but they tried really hard there. And so, yeah, I mean, you can go get in the ring with them, but they're not going to back up much. And they return way more this next year than they did. I'll give you a quick little note, though. And I thought this was very interesting. Kirby Smart in the postgame, they were talking about next year already. And he said, we've got way more coming back, but it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder. And everybody went, what? How's it going to be harder? You got all these people back. You lost 15 to the NFL a year ago. And he goes, because of the buy-in. We had a lot of new guys this year. They bought in because they really didn't play. They weren't part of the team that was on the field winning the title, some of these guys. I got all these guys back, and it's going to be really hard. He goes, back to my Alabama days. I know exactly what this is like. You win a championship, you have all these people back, and you're going to tell them, and here's a metaphor he uses, we eat off the floor. You're going to tell all these guys that have a ring right now, we're going back to eating off the floor? He said it's going to be hard.
Yeah. No, they've moved up in class in their mind and not going to be willing to do the work that may be necessary. What does this loss do to TCU? Was TCU just out over their skis the entire time here? And, and now we're just back to reality, and they were in a ball game they never should have been in to begin with?
I mean, it doesn't change the fact that they accomplished what they accomplished. And I think that's what you take away if you're Coach Dykes and you're Max Duggins and you're that program. You're proud of that. You probably, even if you wouldn't want to admit it, you probably were the needle in the haystack. What we just saw is not likely to happen, hardly ever. Not in that climate. This is not like St. Peter's beat Kentucky last year. That's not college football. It's not the same thing. And when we go to 12, it won't change. The chalk is going to win it. But I think you just honor what you did, man. Hellacious year. I think that's what you do. they had about 30 new guys on the roster. They went out and totally just went out and got players in the portal and transfers and all that. And I would say it probably gives them a little more power in recruiting. In that state, Texas is a wonderful, you could argue, the best state. And it probably gives them a little bit more branding in that state when they go get players.
All right, Bill, I'm going to switch gears on you. You know me. I throw curveballs here a time or two sometimes. I want to get philosophical. Darren and I were talking earlier this week about the Titans, and don't worry, Bill, I'm not asking you about the Titans. What I am asking you about, is the fact that I believe the Titans' offensive and really team philosophy is old and outdated. I believe they're a 1990s team, 80s team playing in 2022. And I don't believe you can win championships the way the Titans play football anymore.
Just for reference for Bill, they're the Iowa Hawkeyes.
There we go. So, and Bill, what I'm pointing back to where you get involved here with this is the fact that the Heisman Trophy has gone to 3 running backs in the last 22 years. Just 3. All the rest have been quarterbacks and wide receivers. There were days when we were smaller and younger children, younger people, when it only went to running backs and it never went to anybody else. There's been a ginormous shift to the quarterback and to throwing the football inside of the National Football League, and I would imagine it trickles down to college football. How do you see it, Bill, in your opinion? Why aren't running backs as high of a value anymore in college football? And we have seen that trickle up into the NFL because, let's not kid ourselves, major college football is nothing more than a minor league system for the National Football League.
Well, let me just reference you. The best running back to come out last 20 years is Adrian Peterson, by far. He was a 5-star. His first year he went for 1,800 yards. He's been a fantastic long-time pro. But the reason why is there's a running back on every street corner, and there's a lot of really good ones. Now, I'm not saying everyone is Derrick Henry or everyone could be Adrian Peterson or Saquon Barkley or whoever through the years, but they're just readily available. And the game has not become so running back centric anymore. You can get a fantastic running back in the NFL and free agency to do better maybe than a kid you get out of college, and you've got pro film on this guy, so you know what he's got. The other thing is the bullets in the holster, your weapons as a running back die fast. I mean, once running backs don't slowly die off. It dies off in like a day, in a metaphor type thing. I mean, it dies fast. They're just not as coveted. And there are 5'11", 210-pound running backs all over this planet. And a lot of them can play for you. And it's just a quarterback. How many quarterbacks in the NFL actually could win a title? Less than 5? Probably. On the planet Earth, 10, less than 5.
Yeah.
There's a million running backs you could play in the Super Bowl, and he'd be all right. That's why.
Yeah. Let's end with that real quick. The Titans have the 11th pick. Will Levis is going to be in that. I mean, I know we've got a months to dissect this, and the combine will be next month. And there's going to be a lot of, ups, movements, high and low. Do you think Will Levis is going to translate to the next level? Because I think people are going to talk about the Titans and Will Levis.
Will Levis has all those things we like. He's got good size. He's got a really nice arm. He looks the part. He's good in the pocket and all that. I just don't see the productivity. At some point, I need to see consistency as a quarterback. I mean, are we talking about beauty contest and if you can throw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, or are we talking about what's the outcome look like? And no, he has moments where he flashes, and I say, okay, there it is. But it doesn't maintain. There's no follow-through there. I wouldn't do it. I think that would be a monumental mistake, doing that. And let's face it, it's not like you have a whole lot of personnel right now for the Titans, particularly at the receiver position. So what are you going to do? Wait for this guy with limited personnel? Now, again, they're going to have draft picks and free agency, and maybe that personnel gets fixed. But I don't like that idea. I mean, I take the next best player. And I know my favorite player in the whole thing is Jalen Carter. number 88 for Georgia. If I'm the Bears, I'm taking him. I don't even care who I've got there. I'm taking him.
Really?
And I think you've got a 10-year Pro Bowl defensive, 3-technique defensive tackle who's an absolute freaking animal who eats nails for breakfast. That's the guy I'm taking.
Well, you just sold me on him.
Jeez.
Sign me up.
Jeez. Trade the draft and let's get him in here.
If you're the number 2 pick, he may be there.
So you take him over Will Anderson?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I like them both. I mean, you're saying okay, not trying to be sexist. You're saying Miss Brazil or Miss Sweden.
Okay.
You know what's
right,
different?
right.
You know,
we're splitting hairs.
Pretty.
Yeah. Splitting
both
hairs.
are pretty. But I like, and both of those guys' skill sets are very vital. But I'm going with the big guy.
Okay.
And, you know, if you're asking me, I'm going with the guy who's 6'3", 330.
Interesting. Bill, appreciate it as always. Thanks for doing this.
Okay. Thank you.
Bill Keane can be heard tomorrow morning starting at 6 o'clock here on these airwaves. Good visit from him. We'll come back. We're wide open the rest of the hour. Whatever you want to get into is fair game. 615-844-5600 is our number, and you are listening to The McFarland Show.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Lieutenant, can you tell us what happened today?
Our officers responded to a crash on I-40 westbound this morning. The driver of a pickup truck lost control of the vehicle, veered left, and went into a ditch.
911, what's your emergency?
We've been in a crash. Please send someone. My fiancé is hurt.
A front seat passenger was wearing a seatbelt. She survived without injury. The driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected from the truck. He died at the scene.
Law enforcement writes tickets to save lives. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
WNSR Nashville Sports Radio would like to take this time to say congratulations to Greg Poe. Greg is a member of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. Greg Poe has been a standard and staple of Nashville sports media. Congratulations to Greg Poe and the rest of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. From your friends and family at WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Texans get permission to interview Sean Payton. Yeah, okay. Well, good luck with that.
Texans get permission to interview Sean Payton.
I bet New Orleans was like, yeah, sure, go right ahead.
Did they ask Sean Payton whether or not he wants to be interviewed? They got permission from the Saints.
They just went straight to New Orleans.
Yeah, but, you know, if they call Sean Payton.
He's like, what? Who are you again?
What? Oh, people don't do that. People just see the area code and not even pick up the phone. Just voicemail.
Nah.
They'll leave me a message.
Nah.
if they're interested.
He knows it's not TCU calling.
No, he's not. And if it was, what is he going to do for them?
All right, they're not getting rid of Sonny Dykes, so he's like, nah, voicemail.
Nah, I'm good.
Voicemail.
Yeah, they'll get to it.
615-844-5600. The Texans. Yeah, you guys have a shot at Sean Payton. Sure. Let's go over to Nolansville. Tony is standing by. What's up?
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Hey, I was asked the other day, somebody said, do you call a lot of the shows? I said, when I used to be at work and knowing all the sports shows were on while I was in that office grinding, looking at that damn square box every day at computer, I said, when I retire, I'm going to call my sports buddies. And, yes, I do call the shows, and I'm glad y'all are always there. So thank you.
Well, thank you,
Thank
Tony.
you, Tony.
And you know what's cool about that story? Whoever's telling you that, they're listening too. So that's
They're
cool.
listening too.
Because they know you're calling, right?
That's right. Guys, a lot of people have made emphasis about Tennessee's probably going to be Georgia's toughest game this next year. I think everybody's forgetting about the one in the spring when they do a spring game with each other. That's going to
yeah, that'll be a pretty competitive game. 5 stars on both sides there.
I think a lot of people forgot about that game.
Well, in all seriousness, that's how a lot of great teams get great, right? Is going up against each other every day in practice.
True. That is true. And you asked Bill about Will Levis, and he said he's got all the tools and this, that, and other. Guys, that's what was being said last year at this time about Willis coming out of Liberty, correct?
I don't know if it was like all the tools.
And then the stock started dropping a little bit.
I think people liked him. I don't know if it was he's got all the tools. Malik's not exactly he's not bigger than Levis.
Well,
he's not the size of Levis. Levis has got, what I've heard, look, I'll start talking to my scouting buddies a lot more as we get closer. But from what I've heard so far in my conversations is he's really smart, sometimes too smart, can be an overthinker, if that makes any sense.
The man eats whole bananas. How smart is that?
Maybe he was overthinking eating that banana. I don't know.
Maybe he was. Justin, I want to throw a stat at you that you probably aren't familiar with. Darren might not be.
Come on with it.
Guys, since 2009, I believe I'm correct on this, every class that has come in at Alabama, if you stayed with it, you have left there wearing a national championship ring.
That is correct, sir.
Did y'all know that?
Yes, sir. They've never gone longer than 3 years without winning the chip.
Nick Saban.
Yes, correct, sir.
Say that again.
They've never gone longer than 3 years without winning a championship. So, yes, sir.
That is correct. And it is, when you put that stat out there, that's pretty strong. And as good as what we've seen of Georgia and everybody, and of course they're down there thinking they're creating a new dynasty, and very well might be. When you put that stat out there, you know what you've got a lot ahead of you. Now, Kirby won his second national title. I don't know if y'all saw this stat yesterday. At the age of 48, his second. Dabo won his second at the age of 50-something, and Saban won his second at the age of 58. Interesting. Really is. So, but anyway, guys, thank you for taking my call. Just wanted to throw that out there and just wanted to chime in on a little bit, watching the show, so everything's good. Y'all look great, by the way.
Well, thank you, Tony. Appreciate it.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye-bye, Tony.
We try. We try to look good on camera.
We do. We do the thing in here.
Des Fitzpatrick has signed a futures contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So
good for Des Fitzpatrick.
Good
for a change of scenery. And listen, if you can't succeed in Pittsburgh, then,
as a wide receiver,
what do you want to do?
You're done.
Okay?
You're out of the league.
It's going to be kind of tough.
They're pretty good at picking receivers.
They're pretty good at picking almost everything because they keep cranking out winning seasons. So good for him. Good luck up there, and didn't work out down here, but another John Robinson guy who, was just wondering, they've been looking for a receiver all year. It would have been helpful if could have had a guy that you drafted be there for you. It just didn't work.
Just another pick, unfortunately, that did not work.
One of many. So at least he's not alone with that.
That's the thing. We've talked about this before. Did John Robinson have good picks? Yeah, he had great picks. He had home run picks.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what really stands out to me, because all GMs hit and miss. They all do. You just want to hit more than you miss. But you gotta have those home run picks too. But what you don't want, you want your misses to be just kind of like Rashawn, let's see, a couple of linebackers that they drafted, like Rashad Evans. Rashad Evans, sorry.
Yeah.
I liked him. I talked to him a lot.
Rashad Evans from Alabama.
That's not a bust.
It was not a bad player.
It's not a bad pick. It's a first-round pick.
Not a franchise changer.
He was good.
Yeah.
He was okay, right? He wasn't bad. He wasn't great. But that, I guess, is deemed, since it was first round, as a miss, right? A little bit.
Well,
because you didn't sign him.
Well, you compare him to Isaiah Wilson. No, he was an absolute smash.
Well, I'm saying you. Well, first of all,
complete success.
Don't compare anybody to Isaiah Wilson.
I'm just saying.
Everybody's a smash and success. Okay, if you compare him to Isaiah Wilson.
Hall of Famer.
I'm saying, since he didn't get his second contract, it'll be viewed as a bad pick, right?
Yeah.
But that's what you want the point is, that's what you want your bad picks to be.
You would prefer if they were Adoree Jackson and Corey Davis.
Yes. Those are more examples. Yes. You don't want them to be Isaiah Wilson. You don't want them to be Des Fitzpatrick.
No.
You don't want them to be, to this point, Caleb Farley, right? Guys that just basically couldn't even get on the field.
No, you want to get some production out of them, but not – you don't want them – if they're going to bust, at least they bust while being productive.
Yeah.
They're productive busts. They're contributing. They're just not contributing at a first-round rate, and you don't want to pay them what you would normally pay for a second contract for a guy that you pick in the first round, because that's what they're going to ask for. Because once you get drafted, and that's the funny thing about the NFL, once you get drafted, that draft pick – wherever you were picked, stays with you pretty much your whole career. It really does. I firmly believe guys like Blaine Gabbert are still in the league in part because, he was a first-round pick. Even though he was a first-round pick like 12 years ago and never quite played up to first-round pick. It doesn't matter. Well, it's the first thing that somebody will say when Blaine Gabbert comes trotting out onto the field, where here comes the former first-round pick, Blaine Gabbert, first-round pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But it's the first. It doesn't matter what he did last week. It doesn't matter if he threw 5 interceptions last month. He was a first-round pick. And so, when that first-round pick doesn't live up to expectations, then you're not going to want to pay them what they're worth or what they believe to be worth or what the market says they should be worth.
It is amazing how teams get caught up in that first-round pick tag, right? And that's not just football. It's in sports.
No.
It's in sports. It's like you will get the longest leash if you were a first-round pick. People will just keep trying.
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe it'll work here. Because you remember he was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Or maybe first-round picks were just overvalued and overgraded, and they really aren't first-round picks. They should have been a fourth-round pick.
Yeah.
And people should stop giving them opportunities. But people are fascinated with the fact that they went in the first round.
Well, it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly what I'm getting
GMs look at other GMs and say, well, if he saw something in him, I don't know what he saw, but he must have saw something to make him go. And I know I'm just calling out random names. I know Randy over there with, Columbus, Columbus Crush, whoever they are. I know them. He's a good guy. I remember him. He seems to know football. He seems to think this guy's the number one pick. Well, it didn't work out over there, so maybe I should try him. What do you think? Well, I don't know, but Randy thought he was good at one point, so maybe he's got something in him that we don't know about yet. So
maybe
let's bring him in.
Here. Yeah.
And that's literally the logic. At least that's the way it feels.
No, I agree. And then they get him, and then they're like,
then they find out,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
He wasn't that good.
He's not very good.
Okay. I wonder what Randy saw in him. And then you keep asking yourself that question because once you get labeled like that, that's just the way you are. And you know what's really unfair about it, Darren, is guys who are 4th and 5th round picks, even if they have some success and they start to tail off towards the end.
Their leash is way shorter.
They'll go, well, he was just a 4th round pick. He was just a 5th round pick, so it's, it's fine.
Yep.
Whatever happens. So Cortland Finnegan is a good example.
7th
round pick.
Yep.
Ended up going to the Pro Bowl. Had a couple of good years. Started to tail off. Well, you got what you needed to get out of him.
Caught up to him. He was a 7th
round pick.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter.
Yep.
You get no leeway.
Yep. Very true. Des Fitzpatrick was a 4th round pick in the 2021 draft. He played in 1 game last year. Had 5 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown. That's his body of work. For a 4th round pick, it's just not good.
Well, it's not good in this system, but again, systems are a big part of what happens. Wherever you go, whatever they ask you to do is a big part of what it is that you end up doing. So it'd be interesting to see what he ends up being in Pittsburgh or in another place. People go other places and blossom sometimes, and we wonder, Khalif Raymond had a good year in Detroit. Why didn't it work here? Well, because they weren't looking for Khalif Raymond. They were looking for I don't know who, but it wasn't him, and so he went to Detroit. He plays a different role there.
By the way, Khalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds, productive in Detroit.
Yeah. How did that happen?
Josh Reynolds, nothing.
How did that happen?
Didn't even last a half a season.
Different system.
Asked for a trade, and they traded him.
Different system.
And I said, why? Just because he asked for it? No, don't. And he goes to Detroit, and he's been productive.
Well, no, you might as well have traded him because he wasn't going to do anything here anyway with the role that he was playing here and the way that he was being used. So he might as well go ahead and go to Detroit where they're going to get something out of him. I'm sure somebody watched Joshua Dobbs here and we're probably some GM out there somewhere probably watched Joshua Dobbs and was somewhat surprised, even though I know a lot of people say, well, Joshua Dobbs didn't play that well, or maybe you thought he played very well. Whatever it is, some GM looked at Joshua Dobbs and said, this ain't it. He's not even backup worthy. Cut him. Put him on the practice squad. He's not what we're looking for. He showed the last couple of games he looks backup worthy at the very least in this NFL, and he was on a practice squad. Why? Some GM somewhere looked at him and decided, you know what, you're not good enough. You're a practice squad player. When it could be in reality what your coach is asking him to do doesn't fit in his skill set. Happens all the time.
Yep. We'll come back. More of the McFarland Show next here on National Sports
Located
Radio.
at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, this message is for you. Congress has passed $80 billion in funding to more than double the size of the IRS. 87,000 new IRS employees means more audits, collections, and penalties. This will make the IRS larger than the Pentagon, State Department, FBI, and Border Control combined. Now is the time to call Civic Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Their tax resolution specialists can stop the IRS from taking money out of your paycheck.
With Civic tax relief, they were able to save me upwards of $80,000 that I would have had to pay.
For your free tax relief information, call now. 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
800-841-0908.
We're going to get into our routine with Daily Tennessee Jackpot. You got $1? Let's have some fun with it. Let's get those numbers going. How many are we picking? And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Let's go. All of us Tennesseans are having fun now. Let's play and play.
Work out a win with drawings every day when you play Daily Tennessee Jackpot. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Coming off his second straight SEC win, this one at the bank. Clark Lee, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, this is my favorite time of the week to be with you guys, so I'm happy to be here.
If you think that's not going to be on a promo, Clark, you are sadly mistaken,
Clark,
sir.
you just made the haters so furious, so thank you very much.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
615-844-5600 is the number to get in touch with us and talk sports. That's what we do.
That's what we do here.
We talk sports. Justin, you have a question.
I do. What should the Titans do first? Hire an OC or hire a GM?
Oh, I think GM. I think right now the next hire needs to be the general manager.
That would make sense to me. But, of course, we're already seeing the names flying around about offensive coordinator. Now, I know that a lot of that is media or,
sure,
whatever else, social media driven more than the Titans floating people out. But there's this misconception, I think, that people are thinking that the Titans are going to hire an offensive coordinator here next week, and I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. It would seem that there will be a GM hired first. And do you think the GM will have any input or say about what direction they want to go with the OC?
No, I don't think they should, personally. I don't. I mean, it's Mike Vrabel's staff. It's who he has to work with every day. The GM doesn't need to come in and dictate who that is. I will say that has happened, though.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you an example.
Feel free. Let's do it.
When Mike Vrabel took over as head coach of the Titans.
Okay.
Maybe he wasn't told who should be his OC, but how about strongly suggested from the guy who just hired him, John Robinson?
Mm-hmm.
Have you any idea who I'm talking about?
Would that be Matt LaFleur?
That would be Matt LaFleur.
Mm-hmm.
Because, see, what Matt LaFleur did was come in here and wow John Robinson because he was interviewing for the head coaching job.
That is correct.
He was at the time the OC of the LA Rams,
Mm-hmm.
which, I don't know. How much he was. I don't know who really is the OC. I think it's more the head coach. But anyway.
Okay.
But, you do have a title, and you are deemed the OC.
Absolutely.
I think Sean McVay probably has his fingerprints all over everything.
Probably so.
But anyway, he clearly, right, struck a chord. Or,
yes.
John Robinson was like, this guy's sharp, right? He's a young guy. Yeah. He's sharp. He's got it together. So I think, if Mike Vrabel came in and we hired him, he's like, who's going to be your OC? And he's like, I've got some guys. I'm like, well, look, I'm just telling you, you're ultimately going to choose who you're going to choose, but you need to strongly look at this candidate, this cat right here. You should strongly consider this Matt LaFleur guy out in L.A. because he's looking to get out of there. McVay's really calling the plays.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to get somewhere else where he can spread his wings a little bit more. And you should really take a long, good look at Matt LaFleur. Well, is John Robinson telling him? No. Is he strongly suggesting? Look, Bud Adams didn't tell Floyd Reese to draft Vince Young, but he said he was quoted in the paper going, VY is my guy.
I mean,
now he's not telling him to take him.
I mean, the language could have been stronger than that behind the scenes.
But Floyd, Floyd's head hit the desk and went, crap.
Yeah, I mean,
crap.
But, you know.
Now that's our pick.
Floyd should have. If Floyd didn't see that coming, then, Floyd had to know that was happening.
What do you mean?
That VY was going to be his guy. He's down there in Houston.
Why?
with Vince Young
he
on
may have
television
watched him in Austin
every day.
Yeah.
Down there in Texas, win the national championship in one of the most royal coronations that you've ever seen. The end of that Rose Bowl game, Vince Young with the confetti falling and him lifting his arm in the air in victory. One of the most now often played iconic moments in college football history happened there, and it just so happens that your owner has a strong feeling, shall we say?
Yes. Well,
about the state of Texas.
Just say VY was kind of a big deal in the state of Texas.
Kinda. Just a little bit.
Just a smidge.
Yeah. After winning that national first time since I don't even know when. What was it? 48? The last time. It had been a long time for Texas.
Yeah, been a long time. So I don't believe the next GM is going to I don't think he's going to tell Mike Vrabel who to hire on his staff. Nor do I think he should. But I will say that it does happen, and I understand that. Look, maybe they don't always tell them who to, but sometimes they tell them you need to move on or else. That also has played out here in Mike Mularkey. Mm-hmm. You need to move on from Terry Robisky.
Yeah.
No. You need to move on from Terry Robisky. No. You need to move on or else.
Or we're moving on from you.
We're moving on. Fine.
Either you're moving on from him or we're moving on from you. You make the decision.
Both of you are moving on together then.
Yes. No problem.
So.
Because we're the ones with the franchise. We're going to be here.
So if that does happen, I don't believe the new person, whoever that is, the new GM. And by the way, if you haven't heard, maybe you're just tuning in right now, Adam Peters, the assistant GM of the 49ers, has turned down the Titans for an interview. He has turned down the Titans and the Arizona Cardinals to be interviewed. So he's told them thanks, but no thanks. So you can scratch Adam Peters off your list.
Yes.
I believe you decided, 6 weeks ago to move on from your general manager. So the process should have already been going on behind the scenes already, right? You don't just sit and wait till the end of the regular season. You've already made your decision. You have a vacancy. You have an interim GM. So hopefully things like that have already been going on behind the scenes. So I think the next hire for this organization needs to be the general manager.
Okay. And the general manager will most likely, I think the general manager, whoever they may be, will most likely somewhat influence what Mike Vrabel does at OC, only because I think whoever the general manager is will have a certain style and direction that they want to go in from a football philosophy standpoint. And if that GM is in there talking one thing and the guy you want to bring in, that's not really what he does, then maybe you take him off your list as somebody you want to hire, is my thought about it. So maybe even though it's not a direct hire kind of thing, if you're more run and shoot and, if you're coming in and you're a general manager, you want to run West Coast, and the guy you're thinking of is more, play action or, 5 wide or whatever it is, then you may say, you know what, maybe I need to find somebody who run the West Coast to run this offense for me. I think that kind of thing is likely to happen, which is why I agree with you, why the general manager may want to get hired first before they continue to look for an OC. Because if you bring in a general manager who doesn't like Cliff Kingsbury or doesn't like Bill O'Brien, you have another whole set of problems right off the bat.
Didn't I ask Terry McCormick when the general manager was going to be hired? Didn't he say next week? Was that
Terry?
Terry?
He said late next week, yes.
Yeah, late next week. So I don't think that's a crazy time.
No.
Late next week?
Yeah, we'll be done with,
I suspect we'll be talking about it next week on the show.
The other thing is a whole round of candidates open up here after this weekend.
That's right.
Because at least 4 teams are going home.
Yep.
So,
all right, we'll come back and take our final break and wrap up Wednesday's edition of the McFarland Show next.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help with all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. The package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. It's starleasing.com to learn more.
It's a Bill King Show.
If Nick coached another 7-8 years, I would not be shocked at all. I wouldn't be. Now, I'm not predicting it because I don't think you can predict that kind of thing. We don't know that. If he coached to 80, I would not be flabbergasted.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Another fun show almost in the books here on this Wednesday. I was watching South Carolina go into Rupp Arena last night.
Yeah.
And upset the Wildcats.
Oh, boy.
John Calipari goes to the press conference or the podium for his post-game press conference and says, hey, listen, don't be mad at these kids. Be mad at me. Oh, don't worry, John. They are.
They are.
They are. Hey, Cal, they are. I don't know if you can read the room or not, but they are. They're actually really. Apparently, a fan had a sign last night. What was something like "Go ahead and go to Texas" or something like that?
Oh, wow.
And they were removed from the game.
Jeez.
How about that?
Jeez.
By the way, why should franchises be allowed to remove as long as it's a clean sign? You know, it's not dirty.
Well,
why can you not say whatever you want on a sign?
They are their own private entity, and technically they can remove you for whatever policy they happen to come up with, as long as, you know, it violates their code of conduct. You know, so whatever that is. When you buy a ticket, you enter into an agreement, and, you know, if you violate the code of conduct, you can be removed. It's probably written right there on the ticket itself. In the fine print. It's just the way it is. Now, I think you can challenge that and probably do pretty well in a public university like the University of Kentucky, paid for by the good taxpayers. But A lot of people don't. They just, take it as it is and move on with life. I wrote a sign, I got a lot of attention, and I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, you've already been removed from the game, which, some would view as, well, good for you.
Badge of honor.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
You didn't have to stay and watch the end.
Listen.
I'm just telling you, the
Kentucky
Wolves
fans
are out. They're out. They're howling.
They demand excellence, and they're not getting it.
Well, look, you know this. I'm not telling you this. I'm talking to you.
Okay.
You're the Kentucky basketball coach. You're getting paid what Cal is getting paid.
Yeah.
You lost to St. Mary's in the first round.
Not good.
Year. Like, you can't follow up. And this year they're going the wrong way.
And he knows that.
Of course
he understands.
Of course he does. But I don't know how it's gotten to this point so fast. I mean, it feels like Russell Wilson right now. Right? That's what it feels like.
Well,
like all of a sudden, Coach Cal has hit the wall.
Let me ask you: are they still putting guys in the NBA?
Yeah,
at the same clip they always were.
Well, yeah, but that they want you to win and do that, not just put guys in the NBA. Like, I know that's what he always sticks his chest out about.
That's how he gets the guys in there.
And that's fine.
I mean, so if they stop doing that, then that becomes a real problem.
They're paying you $10 million a year to not make the NCAA tournament or be put out in the first round by St. Peter's.
No, that's true.
But say, hey, put 5 of them in the pros.
I mean,
well,
but that's his
great.
model, though.
I understand, but you have to win and do that.
Yeah. So he hasn't been, the winning hasn't come through.
And there's a lot of stuff swirling about him replacing Chris Beard. I don't know if it's true or not at Texas.
Less pressure.
Look, Tubby, remember, he read the writing on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
And he bailed.
Oh, yeah.
It may be time. And other coaches have done that.
Where did he go? Like, he retired, didn't he?
No.
He went to Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, they jumped.
He went to Minnesota.
It's like the guy in Memphis where he jumped and went to Georgia Tech and he was going to get fired.
We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
For what?
So I wonder if Cal's like, going, it's time for me to pull the ripcord.
I ain't got to be booed. My wife doesn't have to be harassed.
Right. It's
for
time
what?
for me to bounce.
Man, please.
That'll do it for our show today. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Stay tuned. Afternoon Stretch is next.